Hi guys, welcome back to the Turismo Diaries, and today we'll be looking at this 2017 GT86. Now, we first saw the GT86 way back in 2007 when Toyota presented it at the North American Motor Show. Back then it was very much a concept. Back in 2011 they then sent out the production models, and then a few years later we ended up with this facelift version of the car. This being a 2007 model, it does have the facelift, and some of the more notable features include a revised front end, which I now think looks a lot smarter. Also the side detail, where we previously had that piston, that boxer piston, has been replaced with a more decorative style vent feature, let's say fake vent feature. There's now an aerial fin, and coming around the back, probably the less drastic of the changes, but no less the revised rear lights, which again I think look a lot smarter. Other external revisions include the new 17-inch alloy wheel, which again I think is a massive improvement on the original. And these come factory fitted with the Michelin Primacy tyres. This being quite a high spec Pro model, it does have a few features which you won't see in all cars, and that includes the rear spoiler, and on this car again we've got the rear parking sensors, which do help obviously for obvious reasons. As for boot space, it's not going to be the biggest as you'd expect, but it is large enough to get the daily bits and pieces, a bit of shopping maybe. You see that the top of the boot isn't lined with the aim to save weight, and it's not even fully painted. It's a very Japanese feature, that. Coming back to these fake vents, this is something that we've seen now on the new Supra, so I don't know whether there's a modification that can be had here to make these of use. Coming around the front, picking up the small detail of the 86 on this light, which I think is great, and then again we're starting to see that bit more of those fake vents coming through there. I think all in all though, it's a very good looking car. It's proportioned very nicely. You know, with the boxer engine, it means the front end can be really low, giving you a really good centre of gravity. I say when you drive this, you do feel like it's very focused for track, and when you're in the driver's seat, when you see the humps over the arches, giving you a reference for the apex. It's those little touches that will make the difference when you're out doing your track day. Again, this being a Pro model, it does have the two-tone leather and the suede bucket seats. I was slightly skeptical about having the red with the orange, but once you're inside, it feels like a completely different car, and that clash doesn't really say much. Also has this lovely red stitching detail almost everywhere, and it comes equipped with the centre console as an upgrade and the heated passenger and driver seats. It does have two seats in the back, and whilst I'm dubious to believe that an adult could sit in there with another adult in the front, you can get a baby seat in the back, which went well towards my argument towards getting this car. On the driver's side, you do have the 86 emblem in the middle with a lovely leather steering wheel, and again that red stitching providing a bit more accent feature. You have the window controls, locking the windows, locking the doors, wing mirrors coming in, and then this lovely, I'm not sure if it's real carbon insert, but it does have a nice part of the interior. I'm a massive fan of the simplicity of the centre console. It doesn't have any more buttons than absolutely necessary. Most of these are to do with climate control, and then you've obviously got the start-stop button and a really good sat-nav inbuilt. And then again, part of that upgrade is you've got the suede dash. An improvement I think they could have done here was to reduce the size of these circles to adjust around the dial, and then where we have the readouts, just bring this sort of rectangular shape above that. I think that would have looked a lot better, because you can actually see the different levels of plastic behind it, and I just think it makes it look a bit cheaper than necessary. And this cubbyhole is a bit useless. You might get a few coins in there, but you definitely won't get a phone in there. because the phones these days are so long that they will stick out and you won't be able to get in the third gear. You have the USB port underneath, and then cup holders in the side doors, and then when you lift the center console up, you do have some more here with a bit more storage and a power point, which this is open if you don't have this, so I'd recommend this. I think it's a nice little rest as well for your hand. So coming around to the engine bay, you see that the engine along the top says Toyota and Subaru. So in 2008, a year after the concept came out, Toyota bought Fiji Industries, which included Subaru Automotive, and with that, Toyota approached Subaru and asked them to collaborate with this in doing this coupe car, which has a massive cost advantage if you're sharing the costs, and two manufacturers are getting a car out of it. So Subaru initially said no because they concentrate on the four-wheel drive cars like the Impreza, but then Toyota came back with a much more developed prototype, and at that point Subaru said yes, which is why you'll see a lot of the Subaru logos all dotted all around the car, and in fact Subaru have an almost identical car. But I think there are some minor superficial differences, which I think for the Toyota look much better. The engine itself is a 2-litre Boxster engine. It produces about 197 horsepower, which compared to other cars such as the Audi TT, the Porsche Boxster, is lacking. But for the low down range, the track day, this is ideal because it's a very lightweight setup. So originally Toyota had planned to put a 3-litre V6 in, and that's what they presented at the first concept back in 2007. Soon after, they replaced that with this 2-litre engine, because we all know where the 3-litre V6 ended up. I'll put a picture just to remind you. Alright, so that's enough of the nice outside bits. Let's go see how it drives. Said that all that I've said with it being a track focused car, it is surprisingly comfortable, and whilst you feel every bump, as you can see from the shaking of my camera, the seats do hold you in really well, and I've done a couple of long trips and you don't get that numb bum that I even got with the Celica that I had. So if you're thinking, oh, I don't know, if you do an odd trip, 180 miles, 200 miles, it's not going to be too bad. Anything more than that, you may feel it after that. It's not going to be an S-Class Mercedes in terms of comfort levels, but it's not unusable, even though the suspension is quite firm, and you are going to feel the road no matter where you go. Now, I don't want to be too negative though, because it's a fantastic car, and it does feel like a driver's car. It feels very planted, and it feels very informative through the steering wheel. You do have an option to take the traction control off, which we won't be doing that today, and there's obviously a track button as well. If you're in the market for a car and your budget isn't quite up there, and I know I keep making reference to the Audi TT and the Porsche Boxster and the Porsche Cayman, but if it's not quite up there, this is something you should definitely look at. You can feel like they spent a lot of time developing this car. I'd say the original concept was back out in 2007, and they released the first production model in 2011, 2012. So it's taken a very long time for them to release the car. They haven't just chucked it out, and it's very similar with the Supra. They've taken their time. So I know they've shared again the platform with BMW, but ultimately it's going to be a good car. Day to day, let's say I've just shown you the MPG. Very reasonable, and the more considerate you are when it comes to your driving, the better that figure will improve. So it is very usable. Well guys, we've come to the end of the video. I really hope you've enjoyed looking at my new car today. If you're in the market for one, you've got any other questions, drop me a comment. I'll answer them as best I can. As I said, if you're looking at a two-door coupe, something with a bit of a sporty element to it, not quite up there with the Audi TT or Porsche Boxster Cayman, that kind of budget, I definitely recommend this. I think the exterior looks are fantastic, and the interior is such a nice place to be. I'd highly recommend getting the parking sensors, the spoilers 50/50, and going for the center console, the armrest and the heated seats. Those are features that are quite rare on some of the cars. So in terms of, if you think about resale values, those are things that are really going to stand out from the rest of the cars in when you come to sell. Also, this burnt orange metallic paint is so nice. I think it's the best colour they do, and it reminds me of the old Iron Brew chewy bars. It really goes off well in the sunlight. Well guys, hope you really enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like and subscribe, turn on the notifications, and I'll see you in the next one.